Pokemon fans, Pokegirl Saber here with my Draft League analysis for the PMC Orange League Season 2. The PMC was originally a Wi-Fi league, and they branched out to Showdown so they could have more people and make the league a little bit bigger, and I was invited to join, so even though I was already in 3 other draft leagues, I figured, you know, what the heck, I love draft leagues, and I want as much exposure in Gen 7 draft leagues as I possibly can have. I also did an interview with the commissioner of the PMC, Jay Specs, over on the PMC's YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out if you get the chance to. Alright, so before I reveal any of my picks, I just want to go over the basics of what I have going through my head when I draft in a draft league. So I usually try to avoid picking specific mons before the draft starts, just so that way if it gets taken, my whole plan does not fall apart. Like if I built around wanting Mamoswine and it gets taken before me, and my entire draft is planned around Mamo, I'm kind of screwed. So I've done some research and I found that Steel, Poison, Ice, Ground, and Flying are 5 of the best offensive, defensive typings, respectively, because, you know, Ice is not a defensive typing at all. It's terrible. Ice is terrible defensively, but offensively, it's fantastic in leagues. I wanted to get at least one of each of those types while keeping my physical and special attackers balanced, getting physical and special walls, and getting some hazard setting and hazard removing. Very big on hazard removing because that has screwed me in a few of my other league drafts. It just hazards, ugh. So without further ado, let's jump into my round 1 pick here. Round 1, I ended up going with Zygarde 50%. It was actually a tier 2 pick. It was a tier 2, but it's a really cheap tier 2. A lot of leagues have it as tier 1, so I decided to go for that because my S tier mon and my tier 1 mon were very flexible. Like, I wasn't even sure what I wanted from those tiers, so as soon as I saw Zygarde 50% just chilling there in tier 2, I was like, you know what? I want a ground type. And I'm pretty sure Mamo was taken by this point, or I probably would have went for Mamo. So I said to myself, ground type, dragon type, let's do it. Let's do it. This thing is bulky. It can take ice hits. Despite being 4 times weak, it can take ice hits on the physical side or special side, especially if they're non-stab. If they're non-stab, you're not killing this thing. It's so tanky. It's so tanky. And Power Construct is banned in the league. I'm pretty sure just about every league banned it because it's a busted ability. It is completely busted. So I can only have an Aura Break Zygarde, which is perfectly fine with me. And one of the biggest upsides to Zygarde is a stab ground move that has no switch-ins. It has no switch-ins whatsoever. 1,000 arrows. You want to send in a flying type, a levitator, an air ballooner. Not happening. Not happening. They are getting hit by this thing. This thing will hit those mons on the switch. You can't escape it. Something's taking a hit. And that's it's just amazing. Zygarde is amazing. Its coverage is actually relatively decent. It gets, I know it gets Iron Tail, Superpower, Stone Edge, Dragon Dance, Coil. This thing is absolutely terrifying if you do not have an answer for it. Any mon can be terrifying if you don't have an answer for it, but I think Zygarde was definitely one of the scarier tier 2 mons, and that's why I decided to scoop it up while I could. So moving on to round 2 here, I actually end up picking up Volcanion, nicknamed Ring of Fire, and I love Volcanion. I love its design, I love its typing, its coverage is fantastic. I cannot express that enough. Its coverage is absolutely mental. I mean mental. And that's why I made this thing my Z Captain, because good freaking lord. Stone Edge, Solar Beam, Steam Eruption, Fire Blast, Superpower. Like, it gets such high base power moves that will make beautiful Z moves. Absolutely amazing Z moves. Volcanion is just a threat. Even if this thing was not my Z Captain, it would be a threat. It is a threat. It's a threat. Volcanion is a threat. It has very few switch-ins in the general meta, let alone Draft League format. Volcanion is going to have a great time in this league. I'm very excited. to use it. Those stats, look at those stats! Those stats are amazing! Oh, it also gets Earthquake and Explosion, by the way. So, more Z-move options that I did not even realize on the physical side. Oh my goodness. See, this thing too! This thing too! These high base moves that are just absolutely insane with a decent attack stat. These stats just overall. Volcanion is so amazing. Did I say that already? New drinking game. Every time I say Volcanion is amazing, take a shot, because I just said it about 80 times and y'all are about to get alcohol poisoning. I'm really sorry about that. Its ability, Water Absorb. If you can manage to trick someone into going for it and getting that free health back, that is A-okay. That is fantastic. I don't really see that happening, unfortunately, though. A lot of the people in this league seem to be very experienced. Not necessarily in Gen 7 draft leagues because, you know, it's still relatively new. You know, we're still all getting used to it. But Oras and General Meta, these players know what they're doing. I have at least 3 in my head that I know that they know exactly what they're doing in draft league. So, we'll see how it goes. But I'm very, very excited to be using Volcanion this season. So moving on to round 3, I'm surprised this Mon even made it this far, but I have the honor of drafting Bloodbrass, the Scizor. I love Scizor. I have drafted Scizor, I think maybe a few times now. This is at least my second time drafting it in a draft league format, and it is hands down the best bullet puncher in the draft league format. Don't even at me. This thing will wreck your freaking face. Stab, bullet punch with Technician, hurts like a bitch. It hurts. And it doesn't even have to be banded to hurt. You can be non-invested. You could be a physically defensive, non-invested Scizor with bullet punch, and you're still taking lives, or at least dealing very, very, very permanent damage. Despite its 4 times weakness to fire, it's so good. Offensive, defensive, however you want to run it. Scizor is such a versatile mon. You can't beat the priority. Priority is very, very, very important in draft leagues, I feel. Especially since Tapu Lele is banned in this league, which is fantastic. That thing is broken in draft league. You know, there's nothing to stop this priority except Psychic Terrain Oranguru, which no one drafted Oranguru. I cried. But yeah, this thing is... I'm very, very excited. Oh, and it gets Defog. Defensive Defog is a very good set to use, too. Defog falling into that hazard removal category that I'm very insistent on having because hazards have screwed me in my other leagues, and I do not want that happening here. So, round 4, I finally go ahead and pick up my S tier. It wasn't drafted. I wanted to go Char Y. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I wanted Charizard Y, but I already had Volcanion, so I was like, 2 fire types? 2 fire types? Not very balanced. So I go ahead and pick up Mega Alakazam, nicknamed Zenyatta, and look at this thing's special attack. It's absolutely disgusting. 175 base special attack with 150 speed. This thing is a freaking monster. And I love Mega Alakazam. It is a glass cannon. I have a habit of drafting glass cannons. I think this is the first glass cannon of my draft, actually, but it's so good offensively. You know, Psychic Psyshock, Energy Ball, you can throw a Hidden Power on it if you need, Shadow Ball, and despite it being weak to Sucker Punch, you can always throw Sub on it, and Sub on the Sucker Punch prediction, or the Pursuit prediction, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Oh, Focus Blast too, that's a big one. I'm so all over the place because I love my draft so much that I can't even express to you guys how much I love Mega Alakazam. I've never used it in draft, but I have used it in general meta. And, its ability. Let's not forget the ability that is very important, Trace. Trace, if used properly, is probably one of the better abilities in Draft League. It can catch your opponents off guard if they aren't thinking about it. Like if my opponent has a mon that has Lightning Rod, like say a Manectric. I don't think Manectric got drafted, but let's say Manectric, and they have Lightning Rod instead of Static. Like they forget that I'm gonna have Trace when I Mega Evolve, and they go for an Electric attack when I switch in Mega Alakazam. I have a plus 1 Mega Alakazam, +2. I get the Lightning Rod boost because I traced their Lightning Rod, and now they're in trouble because they put the wrong ability on, and I'm gonna use it against them. And there are some of the UBs. There are some UBs allowed. So if I can trace Beast Boost and get some kills, oh boy, ooh, oh my god, ooh, Alakazam. I really think Alakazam is gonna be one of my kill leaders, to be completely honest. It's just, it's amazing. All right, well, enough gushing over Mega Alakazam here. Moving on to my round 5 pick. If you've seen my Draft League battles before, you'll know that this is a mon that I draft this mon probably 95% of the time now. I went ahead and picked up Bussy in round 5. I feel like a lot of people don't like Chansey and Bussy because they feel like they have to run the same, usual set, with Seismic Toss, Toxic, this mon can be really, really predictable, but the way I use Bussy, you can't be sure what I'm gonna do with it. One of my lesser known things was a Calm Mind Bussy in a league that I didn't record at all. I didn't record that league at all, so I don't think that match ever was seen outside of whoever was watching it live and my opponent. Calm Mind Bussy is very, 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 very scary if you don't have any physical attackers left. Oh, and Bussy gets counter, which is a little harder to pull off, but it's doable. I've done it. Counter Bussy is very... Oh, this thing is a monster. That HP stat and the SPDF, you don't even have to invest in those, okay? You don't even have to invest. You can invest fully in defense, and you're good to go. Just like most of these mons, I could probably go on all day about how much I love using them. So we're gonna move on to a mon that I have not used before I keep talking about Bussy. So round 6, I go ahead and pick up Hitmonchan, nicknamed Bring It. This thing was tier 5. Why? Why was Hitmonchan tier 5? Hitmontop and Hitmonlee were tier 4. Why was this thing in tier 5, guys? Why? Why? I mean, I'm glad I got to pick it up for, like, absolutely nothing, but why? It's just as good as the other 2 Hitmons. It gets Rapid Spin just like they do. Iron Fist is not an ability to sleep on whatsoever, especially when this thing gets Bullet Punch, Drain Punch, and the Elemental Punches. And Mach Punch. This thing is gonna be punching its way to victory. Alright? Hitmonchan is gonna be punching everything in the face. Everything. Everything. So Hitmonchan, offensive, hazard removal, Assault Vest is a good set. Bulk Up might be interesting to try. Bulk Up Mach Punch. Drain Punch. I'm getting ideas. That's another thing about Draft League analysis. You talk about your mons and you start to get ideas, which can be good or bad, depending. But yeah, really excited to use Hitmonchan. Round 7, I'm surprised that this mon didn't get picked up before now. A lot of these mons I'm surprised, actually. Especially when we get down to like round 9. Round 9 specifically. But round 7, before I get ahead of myself, we have Electros, nicknamed Floatsome. This mon has phenomenal coverage. Phenomenal coverage. On the physical side, special side, it can be mixed. It gets, what does it get? Knockoff, Drain Punch. Pretty sure it gets Thunder Punch too. Probably some other elemental punches now that I'm talking about it. Super Fang, Super Fang, Super Fang. Super Fang is probably one of my favorite moves in Draft League because it just tears through these walls that, especially walls that don't have reliable recovery. It's just like, oh, you're walling me? Nah, nuh-uh. Half your health. Bye. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye, half health. You know, and electric is another one of those types that's really, really good in Draft League, if you can manage to pick it up. I love how Electros's base attack is higher than Hitmonchan's, but I mean Hitmonchan's ability kind of makes up for it. So let's see what else. Flash. I know it gets Flash Cannon, Giga Drain. 100% for sure it gets Giga Drain. So that's fun. And Volt Switch. Pivot. Pivot's another thing I kind of have going on in my draft between Scizor and Electros. I have the Volt Turn core going there, so that's a really good thing. And Levitate. Levitate is great because, again, ground typing is very prevalent, very strong in draft. So it's good to have switch-ins for it, which I was somewhat lacking before now. So that's it on Electros. Moving on to round 8. I am very, very glad that I got to pick this up because I was really worried that it was going to get taken before I got to it, but thankfully it didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up Double Cake the Slurpuff, and luckily for me, guess who has the best bullet puncher in the Draft League format on their team? Yeah. It's not taking this thing out, I can tell you that. Slurpuff is safe from Scizor. 100% safe from Scizor. So, if you don't have priority, Slurpuff can absolutely wreck your face. I mean, even Sucker Punch, like, it's resisted. That's nothing. You need Bullet Punch to hit this thing if it gets the Unburden boost, because you're going to be in a very big world of hurt if you do not have a way to handle Slurpuff, especially late game. If this thing gets in late game and gets that Unburden boost, I don't care if you have Scarfers. I don't care if you have Sucker Punch. You're dying. You are dying. And this Slurpuff is mostly known for its physical sets. Even though its special attack is slightly higher, it can be a special attacker, and I probably will run it as that, or mixed. Or mixed. Mixed is a very, very high possibility, not gonna lie. Slurpuff is just one of those mons that you have no idea what this thing is gonna do. It could belly drum, or not. You don't know. Can you take that risk? I don't know, can you? So moving on to round 9 here, during the draft, I was talking to Zamcro, aka Scoots, if you know him. If you don't know him, I'll put his link in the description. He's in the league with me, and he's a really good battler, and he's just a great guy. He's just a great guy. So I was talking to him, and I was like, hey, I'm considering this as my round 9 pick. What do you think in terms of my team synergy? And he said something along the lines of, I can't believe my girl Mandibuzz hasn't been drafted yet. So I go ahead and pick up Mandibuzz, and I can't believe this thing made it to round 9 either. I feel like this is usually picked a lot sooner, and I was kind of risking it with not picking it sooner, but it wasn't super high on my priority list. Although the Flying Stab is great. It's fantastic. So basically, this thing can be a physical wall or a special wall. However you need to run it, you can run it that way. Knockoff, Foul Play, Taunt, Tailwind, Support. Support is great. Support mons are great. Support mons that can also be offensive are great. Its ability to Overcoat. Overcoat's probably the only ability I'd use. Weak Armor, maybe. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe Weak Armor. Probably not, though. Overcoat, you can switch into powder moves, so Spore, don't care about Spore. Won't take Sandstorm or Hail damage, I believe, is how that works. So, weather and status, Mandibuzz doesn't really care too much. So, it was really nice to pick up a defogging wall, because, again, hazard removal was a big thing with me. So then, round 10, I'm only missing Ice and Poison in my little list of types I would like to have. And this Mon was sitting in tier 5, just asking to be drafted. I drafted this Mon actually in another Showdown League that only lasted for like 3 weeks. But I drafted it regardless. It is Weezing. Weezing's a good wall too. Weezing is a good physical or special wall with Levitate, so again, unless you're a Mold Breaker, your Earthquake isn't touching me. The poison stab is one of the things I wanted to go after, so that was really nice to have. It gets Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Toxic Spikes, so I think this is the only hazard setter I have actually, now that I'm looking at my draft, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, Blissey gets Rocks. Blissey gets Rocks. That technically counts. I think I ran Stealth Rocks on Blissey one other time in another league. So I have Rocks and Toxic Spikes so far as my hazards, and Weezing is just a great Mon. Weezing's a great Mon overall. I really love all the Mons that I drafted, and I have really high hopes for this season. Moving into the final pick. This was my meme pick. I had this in the back of my mind the entire draft, and secretly worried that it would be taken from me, but realistically, no one was gonna draft this thing. No one should draft this thing. But here I am, round 11, my last pick. I seal the deal with Volbeat. Let's boogie for a while, guys. Let's boogie for a while, because Volbeat, on top of being a fantastic band, Volbeat's a great Mon. I love Volbeat. I think this Mon with Prankster could win me a few games. I'm not gonna give away too many things about it, but probably one of the more prominent strategies with it, because I was talking with someone else in the draft. I told them that I was drafting this, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's really good." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I thought I was the only person that knew about that." No, I'm not the only person that knows about Tail Glow Baton Pass. All right, could you imagine? Just imagine for a minute. Just close your eyes and imagine with me. +3 Mega Alakazam for free. Yeah, imagine that. That thing's special attack stat is already off the freaking charts. Make it +3? Ha! That's fucking GG, guys. That is GG. That is GG. And this thing also gets Tailwind. It gets Tailwind, it gets weather, so I can screw with people's weather. So that'll be fun. I was originally going to make this my Z move user, because primarily because of Z Tailwind, but it really wasn't worth it to me in the end, and I'm glad I picked Volcanion over this thing as my Z user, because this thing has better items it can run. So my last pick, my meme pick, pretty much just being a support Mon, because that's about all it does. That's about all it does. Which is why it's tier 5 and no one ever drafts it. Alright, so a quick little recap here, just looking at the average stats of my Mons. Overall, really not bad. My average stats, the only thing below 80, the only thing below 85. The only thing below 85 is my speed, and that's 75, which in this gen is not bad at all. Not bad at all. This gen was really freaking slow in terms of speed tier, so you know, I'm perfectly happy with the balance of my team. You know, I'm not too heavy on the physical attackers, not too heavy on the special attackers. I have a good amount of bulk. Speed on some Mons leaves a little bit to be desired, but overall I think I have my speed tiers covered pretty well with what I have. And on the right of the screen here, I put my big hitters on the screen for you guys to see here. Blissey having the highest HP and Spadef stat, Mega Alakazam having the highest special attack and speed, Scizor having the highest attack stat, and Zygarde just beating out 2 other Mons with his defense stat of 121. Volcanion and Weezing were tied for second on the big hitters for defense with 120 defense. They both have 120 defense, and Zygarde beat him out by 1 defense point. So there you guys have it, my draft for the PMC Orange League Season 2. And I will be posting these matches, I think it's every Saturday, with potential team builders on Friday. potentially. I don't know if I'll be able to record team builders, but the matches for sure will be up on Saturdays. Probably post-com because my recording situation isn't super great where I'm staying right now, so probably post-com, but I will be posting the matches. Go ahead and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of that amazing action. Go check out the PMC's YouTube channel. Check out my interview on that YouTube channel too. And yeah, just go check out all the links in the description. There's some really cool stuff down there for you guys. If you guys enjoyed, give that like button a big old bear hug to show your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.